Before I start, could I request if you can increase the temperature? It's really cold. And I came in a very inappropriate, dress code for this kind of a temperature. So with that small note, I would really like to take this opportunity to congratulate all our senior journalists. When we sat down together to decide on reforms, on recognition, and ways in which we could improve the overall media sector, I should say, we realized that the government, and I don't mean to judge any government, but the government in general has not done enough to recognize the contributions that have been made by our journalists, whether senior or the current fraternity of our young journalists. And that is where we felt the need to have, number one, programs like these, where we felicitate our journalists. We recognize the contributions and the work that they have done, the sacrifices they've made, the challenges they've overcome. And while we do that, we also interact and connect with our fraternity of journalists to be able to then figure out how we can move forward in the larger interest of the media fraternity and the media sector, and to ensure that the entire sector thrives, follows a certain code, is able to improve itself in terms of the given circumstances, in the technological changes that we are seeing. So all of this thought has actually brought us to this point where we felt that we need to have this kind of media meets on a regular basis. We all agree that we disagree. So that's fine. That's how healthy democracy works. And disagreeing with somebody's viewpoint or with somebody's work or somebody's policy is not anything wrong. And I'm sure most of the journalists who have interacted with me or are in touch with me personally, you will realize that for me, every criticism is a positive criticism. This is what I believe. And in fact, whenever I see a news article in any paper, it actually motivates me to resolve that particular problem. So really, you are giving me an opportunity to see the other side of the story, and that's how I take it. And I'm very clear about this, even after 7 years of being the chief minister, that every single article and information that is brought in is something that is of a constructive nature, and positives can come out of it, and it is how we look at it and how we deal with it is what is important. And hence, I do want to make it clear that there is no negativity when it comes to at least the way I see things. Of course, there will be, as I said, differences. It's natural, because it is the duty of the media, the press, and everybody in the press fraternity to look at aspects which are important from the public interest point of view and facts that need to come out. Having said that, I think what is very crucial apart from what you've just said, what is very crucial is, as I said, the recognition part, which I've already dealt on. Uh, but I just want to also add to this, which I've just shared with our Commissioner Secretary also, that of course the felicitation was given by the department. I thank the Honorable Minister for taking the lead in it. But I also would like to give a small contribution from the Chief Minister's office. So I would like to announce that every single senior journalist who has been felicitated today from my Chief Minister's special grant, I will be giving an amount of 1 lakh rupees to each of the senior journalists who are felicitated today from Chief Minister's special grant. Apart from that, as I said, what is the larger goal? I think it's important for us to see that. And really the larger goal is to see how we are able to improve things, how we're able to adapt to the given circumstances, how we're able to grow, how we're able to train. A lot of people think that journalism is very simple, and we just have to be able to write something. But it's beyond that. There's so much of training that goes into these aspects. I would be happy to see and be able to push and promote and support different exposures and trainings for our media persons. I think it's important for you to interact with journalists from other parts of the country, maybe even other parts of the world, and really see how everything is moving in the media sector. Because as I said, because of the change in technology, things are moving very, very fast. And therefore, technology is impacting every aspect of our lives, even at a personal level, obviously. So media and the way we consume information is also changing very, very fast. So hence, I think it's very important to have continuous training, continuous exposure and updation of different aspects of journalism, I think, to our press friends. So I would urge the Shillong Press Club as well as our other organizations, you should take the lead. DIPR can take the lead. Even have a simple program for example, even how to shoot. Today we all shoot with the mobile, but we just do it the way we think is right. But how do we do it in a professional way? I think it's important to be able to have the right tools, maybe the right apps, and even the right way to shoot. So I think these are small things, but I feel that this meet should discuss on these aspects also, and I hope that we'll have more and more of training and exposure for our journalists and our press fraternity at large. I would also like to touch on a very simple aspect. Today, what's happening is because of technology, the borders or the boundaries, you can say, or the lines between information and opinion and news, those lines are disappearing. So today, an opinion is looked at as news, or information is also becoming news today. But actually, there is, or there was at least, a distinction in how we would look at news and information and opinions that are coming in. I think it's important we train our journalists and the press fraternity in important aspects like these, because at the end of the day, if you ask me, what is the bottom line of everything that we try to do, whether it's politics or whether it's the leadership or whether it's media, I think the word at the end of the day is trust. Trust is what is most important, I personally feel, even for a politician. When a politician says something, then we should be able to believe, though it's quite difficult sometimes, I understand that, but that's important. But similarly, when a press also, a newspaper writes something, that trust should be there that, oh, if it's come out in this paper, or if it's come out on this particular media, digital media, it must be correct. We can sensationalize things for a day or two or a week or a month or a year and be able to get that spike. But I think the consistent growth in the overall trust of a name, a brand, I think is what we all should strive for as we move along. And so without going into too much of details about that, I leave it to you to decide on how we build that trust. And I think small decisions, small articles you put, small news you put, makes a difference of allowing that brand to come down or the brand to go up in terms of the trust. Because at the end of the day, that's what ultimately matters. Even for a press, journalist, when a journalist comes out, of course maybe one or two important articles are there, where that initial exposure you get because of a certain article you put up. But I think in the long run, to be able to survive 46 years in journalism, I think requires a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work, and trust building, which I strongly feel is at the end of the day the most important aspect of journalism and for the press and for anybody in the press fraternity. Friends, I don't have much. In fact, I have a lot to say, but I don't feel that I'll be able to express all of it on this platform. But as we move along, in our lives, in how we go, in overall governance and overall how we work as a media, let me be very, very frank and blunt with you that we look forward to your constructive criticism. And I'm not lying about it. We really look forward to it. I believe that the press plays a very crucial role. In fact, you can ask my officers if you don't believe me, that when an article comes out, I see a particular issue, I immediately click a picture of it and I say, what's this? Why is this happening? What is the fact about this? Give me a report on this and take necessary action to rectify it if it is true. So hence, we really look forward to it. I urge that we should work together in the larger interest of society. We all have a role and a responsibility to play, and as I said, sometimes we may not see eye to eye, we may not agree, but we do agree to disagree sometimes, as I said. But that's natural, and that's how things should be, and that's what's healthy for our society and even from a governance point of view. The last thing which I would like to state is that there are many issues that the press fraternity has mentioned to me. I think our DIPM minister has very clearly stated them. I had met the Shillong Press Club members the other day, and they have given me a 7-point agenda which they wanted to be looked into. Can't remember all the details of each one of them, but I remember that there were 2 agendas which I told them are slightly more complicated, but the rest of the 5 agendas are very much doable. So I have shared it with our DIP, our Commissioner Secretary, and with our Honorable Minister, and we are working on improving those angles on a very, very quick basis, because they are low-hanging fruits. We should be able to get those done. To be very frank, on the issue of housing and the issue of the pensions that were mentioned, our challenge as a government is the domino effect that we have on the larger landscape of the state and the other employees and other individuals who are working with us, and that is where the challenge lies. If it was only for the press fraternity, the decision is very easy. It's not very complicated. But once we do decide that, then it opens up a front which is far more complicated than I can explain right now, and it impacts maybe 30,000, 20,000 more individuals, which will be a massive challenge for us and very difficult for us to be able to justify. So that is a challenge we face, and we're trying to find how we could achieve the goal of supporting our friends in the press, but without opening the fronts that would then complicate things to an extent where it will be completely out of control for us as a state, and especially as a government. And hence, we have explored those ways. I've shared it with Minister and with Commissioner Secretary, and also with the President and Secretary of the club, of the Shillong Press Club. And we are working on how we could, as I said, achieve the same goal, but without, as I said, opening up fronts that would complicate matters for us in a much larger scale. So I will not go too much into details of that, but as the Minister has mentioned to you, that we are working on all those fronts. I'm hopeful that if not 100%, we should be able to resolve at least 80% of the major issues that you are facing, and work on the rest of the 20% in a way, as I said, which will not complicate things further for us from other fronts. So with these few points and thoughts, and of course my views on certain aspects, I once again would like to thank our Minister, our Commissioner Secretary, our Director, and all the rest of the staff and the team of the IPR, which has really worked hard to make this happen. I'm very sure that this is a small beginning, but you will see that on a continuous basis, the more we interact, the more we connect, we'll be able to really take things forward.